Well, hello and welcome everybody to another Lockdown Orienteering Live. This week has been the British Open Championships. We've had a number of competitions that you'll have been able to compete in so far. And tonight is the Saturday stream. We're going to have a results roundup. But first, an interview with Fiona Bunn. She is here to, tell us a little bit about her career. Of course, an incredible junior career so far. She's been to 5 Junior World Championships and she's won 2 Junior World Championships medals, 1 gold, 1 silver. Fiona, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hiya.
Great to see you. And just the first question that I want to ask you, at least, is, that great year that you had last year, your final jaywalk, you won 2 medals. Was everything before that and all the years of training that you've done up till now, were they leading towards that, or was it a surprise to win those medals?
I think I had always kind of been aiming for that. And I guess I'd had a lot of experience in all the jaywalks that I'd been to, but I kept on feeling like I hadn't quite achieved my potential at all the races I'd done, and I never really knew whether I would be able to achieve what I thought I could achieve. So I guess my second jaywalk that I went to, I had some really good results in the middle qualification and in the relay, but I never managed to make it count in like an individual race. And then the following few jaywalks, I had some issues in the lead up with like injury and illness and just not being able to achieve under pressure. So I was really kind of relieved to get the results I really wanted in our final jaywalk. And I had put a lot of specific preparation into it, knowing it was my last one.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, could you just tell us a little bit then about your background, the number of training sessions and the kind of focus and type of preparation that you found has been able to work for you over the years? What kind of training do you like to do?
Sure. So I live near in Oxfordshire. There's not great orienteering terrain around here, so a lot of my sort of weekly training is all focused on running, especially coming up through the junior age groups, and obviously getting out to events when I can. But I often used to kind of train for orienteering in kind of a big training camp, do lots of focus work, and then come back and keep getting fit and thinking about the orienteering, but not having that much chance to practice regularly. And then I went to university in Cambridge, which also doesn't have much opportunity for forest orienteering anyway. So in the build up to this jaywalk, I obviously had a big focus on the physical side whilst I was still in Cambridge, and things like sprint orienteering, which we could train. And then I went for having a big sort of training block. Once I'd broken up from uni, I went and created like a few mini training camps for myself. I did one in Sprint Scotland, which was a really good way to get some like race practice, because that's the main thing that I really value in my preparation, is the opportunity to practice racing and like putting yourself under a bit of pressure. Even if the results actually don't matter in those races, it's good to practice it. And I also went to the ASOM sprint weekend in Belgium, which was only a week before jaywalk. And that was a really good way to have some final like fine tuning. So yeah, getting some race practice was really useful. Sort of the number of training sessions I'd do a week. I'd run every day apart from a rest day on Friday. I'd have 2 to 3 strength and conditioning sessions, which I found were really useful, especially building up to jaywalk in Denmark. The terrain was very hilly, and obviously I didn't really have very good areas to train the hills in Cambridge. So I do strength and conditioning, focusing a lot on single leg stuff. And then straight after the session, I'd go and do some hill sprints up a road bridge over the motorway, which was just to practice running up hills when I was tired. So it's kind of making it as efficient and effective as you can with like what I had. And obviously when I was away from university, we have quite short terms in Cambridge anyway, getting the opportunity to do some hill work and like terrain practice.
No, that's great. I mean, it sounds like you really, focused in on that physical preparation, and you knew exactly what was going to be out there waiting for you in the Danish terrain. Give us a little bit of insight into the technical preparation then that you were doing. Were you looking a lot at the maps and doing a lot of like geeking and course planning and this sort of thing, or were you confident that you had the sort of the base technique enough to, deal with the challenges?
I'm always worried about the technical side of the race. That's always, I mean, pretty much anyone can sort of sometimes get it right. It's just getting it right on the day, which I was always concerned about. So in terms of specific technical preparation, I managed to get our Cambridge University Orienteering Club to organise our summer tour the year before to the area of Denmark where we were going to be racing in, which was really good to get a sort of feel and kind of help you motivate yourself throughout the next year, because you can visualize it better. You know exactly what the terrain's going to be like, and also sort of helping me focus what skills I was going to be training and what physical aspects I wanted to train. And then we went out again later in the summer with the British squad. And then again, after selections had happened, we did a training weekend in Denmark. So the opportunity to experience the terrain was really useful. But it also showed me that the terrain was quite similar to a lot of what I had in the Chiltern Hills. So that did give me confidence. And also the sprint area was very similar to like a Scottish housing estate, which is part of the reason why I went to Sprint Scotland. We did a lot of looking at maps, planning courses for each other in the team, and like discussing how we'd execute each leg, what route choices we'd do, which was important in the long distance especially. The British girls actually got 3 out of the top 4 in the long leg, which kind of showed that we'd prepared well in terms of knowing what challenges the terrain was and really just planning every long leg there could be. The sprint, we also made a map as a team, and I was involved with a third of that. So spending a lot of time on like street view, aerial imagery. And when that really helped, it was the first time I'd really made a big chunk. I'd helped a bit the year before, but it was the first time I'd really committed a lot of time to it. And I found that very useful. It made you feel more ready when you're standing on the start line.
No, absolutely. And it's great you talk about the teamwork there, because that's something certainly I've noticed is the junior team now is very, very focused and has a very good sort of preparation mindset and analysis mindset. So yeah, I mean, it's fantastic to hear a little bit of insight into that as well. And of course, yeah, getting the results to back that up. So yeah, that's great. So just moving on then, what sort of how's lockdown been for you? What have you been up to recently then since last year?
So my lockdown's been, it's been okay. I've been at home, back with my parents. I've been revising for exams for a long time, so that's actually helped the time go quite quickly. And I wasn't too concerned about only having an hour to go out and do my exercise because I was very busy at the beginning of lockdown. In terms of training, I've been kind of doing a very gentle rehab from a long-term injury that I've had, which has been good because I've had no pressure to get back for anything, nothing that I feel like I'm missing out on. And I've also been exploring a bit more around some trails I've never been on from my house, which is just crazy. So I've actually quite enjoyed it. I'm obviously very keen to get back to orienteering sometime soon. I went for my first orienteering training today, which was really nice. I was a bit rusty, but I think we're all going to be, especially people who haven't been able to get out orienteering over this time. But no, I've not been doing too badly, working on some weaknesses, trying to come back stronger. So doing lots of sort of injury rehab, prehab exercises.
No,
Yeah.
great. I mean, yeah, that all sounds, I mean, of course, unfortunately, there's been an injury, but you've been able to, work on that and build on that, and hopefully it's going to be a good winter ahead of you to build into the future. What are your future plans going forward? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Do you have you thought about it in terms of orienteering?
I have a few goals. I was kind of hoping to go for the sprint walk in Denmark this year because I felt already quite prepared for it because we'd been there so much last year. But obviously, especially with my injury, it's quite nice to have the competitions a little bit further away now. I feel like I can maybe put a bit more, get a better preparation for it. So I will be aiming for the GB team in Czech Republic. And also with the addition of the sprint races to the program, I'm hoping there may be some openings in the team. I'm not really sure what discipline I'd want to be selected for. I've always really loved the relays, but I know that obviously in the senior they will be looking for consistency. I do find that I'm more consistent in the relays because when I'm running in a relay team, I feel the sort of the pressure to do well for the team helps me stay more safe in my orienteering. I'm not going to take bigger risks like I do in an individual. I think, it's only me that cares about this result. I'm going to maybe risk it a bit more than I should. And the relay, I'm much more secure, I think. I think that really helps me. So I would love to be in a relay team. I also love the sprint, love long distance. I'm less keen in the middle, but that was what I got my medal in JWOC. So hopefully I can build some confidence in that. And I'm not really sure what discipline I'd want to go to for, but just, anything. Get back competing.
Absolutely. All the best for getting in the team next year. And I'm sure with hard work, you'll easily manage to run many, many world championships and, of course, make many great successes. All right. Well, we're going to have a quick photo quiz with you. Of course, we've been doing this with everybody. I will share my screen. Let's just share this one. Here we go. All right. Can you see this?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so here's the first one. If you can just give me the place, which is quite easy, and the year, of course, which is also super easy because I've left them both on this image. But just give us a little bit. I'm not going to embarrass you with asking for the year and place, but what is happening here in this image?
That was my JWOC silver medal in the middle, on the podium. And on the teammate in the bronze medal was Teresa Janosikova, who also used to run for my club in Sweden. So we are really good friends, and that was just a really, really happy moment.
Nice. No, that's perfect. Yeah, I mean the silver medal in the middle distance. What a great achievement that is. Tell us a little bit about this. Do you know the year and the place or the competition?
So that was the JK, I think in 2017.
Absolutely, you're correct. Yes, well done.
And with Gigi. So I think that was the best female male performance trophy.
Yep, very good. Very good.
So I must have been.
Do you know the two people in the background as well?
That's Westwood.
Yeah, exactly. That's Graham's parents.
Their parents, okay.
Well, cracking. Okay. Tell us a little bit about what's going on here. Obviously, you don't just run orienteering races. You've done a lot of cross-country running as well. Yeah. Very strong and very talented in cross-country. What's this? Abingdon AAC, is it?
Yes, that's my home running club. I don't know the year. That's I think it's the county champs. I don't look very happy. But yeah, I think I must have been maybe in 15. So that would be like maybe 2015, 2014.
2014, I believe it was, yes. Well done, though, on everything else. Right.
Yeah, so that's the Junior Home Internationals in 2017 with Lucy, your sister. And yeah, I think that was in Scotland. It's the second time I've done mountain running for England. I did it again in 2014, a bit earlier on. So I really do love mountain running. I don't normally get much chance to do it because all the fixtures are a long travel for me from where I come from. But that's one of the aims that I'd love to do more of that in the future as well. I was kind of hoping this year I might be able to focus a bit on the mountains. I thought maybe by the end, because the season is a little bit later, there might be some chance of more mountain races happening after lockdown, but haven't been keeping up to date because I was then injured, so not being able to really focus on it.
Yeah, no, but obviously, you got a great physical ability and physical potential, so yeah, sure, why not? Go for the mountain running, go for the cross country, enjoy everything. So all right, finally, the final photo.
That's the running of the relay at Denmark with Megan Keith and Grace Malloy, who just done the anchor leg and been really exciting. I think you might just be able to see the Russian in the background coming in. Yeah, so that was probably the best moment of my life. It was very exciting. And we were just, the whole team was really happy. It wasn't just the three of us. There's also a great photo of us having a massive group hug afterwards. The guys had also run a really good race, came sixth, I think. Yeah. So yeah, it was just really, really exciting. And so many other nations were cheering us on as well as we came down the run-in. And I think everyone found it quite inspiring almost that the GB girls had managed to win Jaywalk because we're kind of an underdog. And we kind of showed that other nations can get in there, which was a really good feeling.
No, absolutely. Many congratulations, providing an inspiration for many, many people. And yeah, you definitely have many, many fans and supporters who are following you and wishing you on after that great performance. Well, Chris has just joined us. Chris Smithard, of course, the creator and coordinator of the Lockdown Orienteering. Chris is going to be going through all the competitions and things so far, giving us some answers, much needed for many of you, I'm sure, who are watching. Fiona, how have you been enjoying the competitions? Have you? And Chris, how has it been going? Chris, welcome, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been good to be here.
Yeah, good to be here.
Fiona, how have you been finding it so far?
I've really enjoyed it. It's great to have like the variety of different things to do, all the things you can do when you're not training. It's a kind of good, I think it will give a lot of people ideas of how they can improve their orienteering between training sessions or in this sort of weird period of lockdown. I think it's been very good. I'm not very good at it, but it's nice to have something you can improve on.
Yeah, everything helps, isn't it, at the end of the day? I'm going to share my screen and then we can go through some of the answers. So I thought I'd just start on stage one, which is the route choice game. We can't really go through answers, but I just wanted to maybe point out some helpers for people for next time.
Good idea.
That basically is important to be like quite quick in the game, and actually in some instances you might be better to be really fast and get more wrong. So if we just look here, that most people towards the top have got late 80s% right, whereas you've actually got someone who's 73%. They only got 73% of the answers right, but because they took a lot less than a second on each one, they still got a good score. So sometimes it's just better just to make a decision quickly, and that's right in real orienteering as well. You don't want to wait around for ages making a choice if maybe it's only a few seconds difference between each choice. And then moving on to the trailer, which is the second stage.
Yep.
So we'll put all these on the website shortly after this is finished. So maybe we'll just go a few of them now.
Yeah, let's see which ones are the interesting ones.
So I thought we decided to go for this one first because we thought this would be a bit easier. Just because it was quite, you could kind of see where everything is. But actually, we looking at the statistics, quite a lot of people got number 3 wrong. So basically, this symbol is the symbol for an open land, and it's the corner, inside corner. So it's actually over here, and because we're standing, the photo is being taken from here. You can't actually see that point. It's behind the hedge over here, which means it's dead. So maybe that just caught people out because it's quite early on in the game. Do you remember what you did there, Fiona?
I think I got a few of the later ones wrong. The one with the pipeline I found confusing.
Okay, yeah, we'll go down and have a quick look at that one in a moment. Then we had, so this one, which is like some buildings. I mean, the grass has grown quite a bit here, which doesn't help. And on this screen, I'll just maybe zoom in a bit. So yeah, I mean, you've only got 4 trees in the photo in the map, and there's 4 controls on each of the trees. So you just have to double check the description to make sure it was on the right side of the tree. I'll go down to the pipeline. Yeah, so yeah, the grass maybe is covering a few things here. But we've got like, this one's the inside corner. So it's this corner here, and it's the inside. And if you go over to the photograph, you can make out this is the pipe, so the black is the pipe, and to the corner of the pipe's here. So this control is on the inside here.
Very good. So that was D, the answer there.
Yeah. And then this one, I can't see myself. It was the building, but so this control here is on the corner here. So you can't actually see the other corner. So that means it's Z or 0. I should say 0 because that's the correct terminology in trail orienteering. And then this one is the fence or the wall, uncrossable. So that's here, this one, E. And then we've got the inside corner of the pipeline, this corner here. And that's behind this tree, basically. So this control is on the nearest corner. That control, can you see my arrow? I just want to double check.
I believe so.
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah, and then the control which is to the left, which is B, that's on the far corner. And then the one on the right is the one we had before. And then I think we had the last one, and then that was the building corner, which you can see here. And some of these controls were actually the same as in the practice. I don't know if anyone actually realized, but the practice station was these 2 controls were in the middle of the practice station, but the photograph was taken a lot further behind. And then this one is where people got a bit confused because they didn't read the instructions. So basically, there's no letters on the map here, and that's on the photo, and that was to replicate real trail orienteering tempo, where you don't. I mean, you're just standing out there in the area, and no one's telling you, or you don't see which letters are which kite, so you have to see them yourself. But it's A is always on the left, B, C, D, E, F. So hopefully people could at least work that out. And then we'll put some statistics up. These are statistics which basically show which are the hardest controls. It's basically, so this was number 3, which we were looking at before with the open land. So only 93 people got that right, and 168 got it wrong, and that was the hardest. That was the one that most people got wrong. Right, we'll move on to matching maps. Are you a fan of matching maps, Fiona?
Oh, I stared at some of these for so long, and I just find I could quite often rule out the first one, and then I could not find the difference between the other 3. I mean, I think I got one wrong, which was really annoying. I compared 2 of them and could not find any differences, so just went for them. And yeah, it was pretty tricky, I thought.
Yeah, it's not so relevant for orienteering, but we just like to have a bit of variety. So that's why we keep the game like this in. So quickly, yes, so the buildings disappeared on A and the contours disappeared on B. And then the next one, yeah, so a fence has disappeared on A and a building is appeared on D. And the next one, we got not quite sure. That's a mistake. I think it was right in the actual competition, but I'll double check that because
yeah, the underpass wasn't there in the competition.
Yeah, that's good. Just made a mistake here. And then on this one, the path went all the way through, so that was wrong. Next one, vegetation boundary was missing, and the stream was longer on D. And then the final one, so this is right in the middle of St Andrews. I've done it again, but this piece of building was actually missing. I'll update these later. And here the uncrossable walls become a fence. And then this is the area in the Lake District that's never been used before. Martin Bagnus has just mapped it in lockdown. There's like a car park's missing on A and a missing contour on D. And then there's a missing crag on B and a missing hill on D. I think these are starting to get a bit harder. This one, the ruined wall is actually a ruined fence on A, and there's some extra stony ground on B. And then missing open on C, rough open, and then there's a missing form line on D. And then this last one was the hardest one. Most people got this one wrong. So there's a missing crag on B, which is really tiny, and a missing knoll on C. So yeah, they were quite hard, some of those.
They're pretty tough, you know, when just the number of details relative to between, you know, the street and the terrain is, I don't know how much, you know, 10 times, 20 times, maybe even 30 times more details that could be missing. And I guess, you know, it's easier to pick out angular shapes maybe that are missing that you might have on a street map rather than, yeah, vague shapes or a lot more point features that might miss.
Yeah,
I think games showed me what sort of features I tend to like hone in on and what sort of things I kind of neglect to see.
Yeah, you're kind of automatically drawn to certain things, like maybe the buildings on sprint maps, and it depends, of course. It depends what is the most frequent thing on the map as well. Kind of what's the obvious things that stand out.
What are these stats telling us then, Chris?
Well, this is just saying that the average time people spent on the last one was what's that, 7.5 minutes.
Wow. So
that's quite a long time to stare at a screen for. I think I would lose patience, to be honest. It's not a game I would do very well at. And then we'll move on to the contour game, which I think this was the second time we were using it. So we used it for the first time a few weeks ago. So this is the Trossachs in Scotland, which is quite near to Stirling, which is where I live. So number 1, it's just uphill. So hopefully that one was quite straightforward because there's only one that goes up. 2, it goes over 2 hills, but it starts higher up than it finishes, so that's why it's C. But also the second hill is bigger than the first hill, so hopefully you pick one of those things up. And then again, we're going over like 2 rises, and we're starting a lot lower than we're finishing, so that's why it's C. And then number 4, it's basically going up a bit and then along for quite a long way on the flat and then down a little bit at the end. So that's C. 5 is just 1 hill and it's starting lower than it finishes, so it's D. And then number 6, you've got so basically 4 separate rises, like 3 hills, and you're starting on top of another hill. And the second 2 hills are lower down, smaller than the first 2, so that's why it's C and not A. Maybe a bit tricky, that one. And then 7, you're starting high, going along a bit, and then dropping down, and then going up at the end. That's D. And then 8, going up slightly, and then dropping into a re-entrant, and then up a steep hill at the end. So that's A. And then 9, going up gradually, and then dropping down steeply. So A. And then 10 is dropping down slightly, going along, and then a little bit up, and you're starting and finishing at the same height, so that's why it's C and not A. And then we'll just have a quick look at the results.
Yep. How did you find the Trossachs, Fiona? Have you been there before in real life?
I've been there once with a Cambridge training weekend just before Bucks, which was in Scotland, and yeah, it brought back good memories. I really enjoyed it. I found it was good. It made you think. You had to really pick out sort of the small details, whether it was starting or starting slightly higher, or yeah, I thought it was good. It helps you visualize the terrain.
Cool. Chris, let's have a look at these results then quickly, shall we?
Yeah, so this is the route choice game. So we've got Haruki from Japan in first place, and then Sandra from Smok in second place, and Martin Ward in third. And the highest placed junior was Naomi Thornton from SYO.
Well done. Everyone's getting in amongst it there.
Yeah. And then the trail orienteering, so Jake O'Donnell from DVO. The M14, he was the best. He had the best time on that.
Eyes. Yeah.
And then Matthias Marr, who I know plays quite a bit of tempo elsewhere as well. Who else we got? Okay, so Megan Carter Davis from the British team. She's down there in 8th place.
Good to see.
Matching maps. So we got Yuki from Japan in first, and then Stanimira, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, from Bulgaria, I think, W14, she's in second. And then Haruki again here, he's doing well. And then we'll go across to the contour game. Oh, Jake's winning again. So having a good weekend. And then Joe Sunley. Yeah, Joe Sunley, he won, I think it was the June weekend in the grand final. So he's doing well there.
Paul Brazina up there again.
Yeah. And then Emma Wilson, the highest placed lady. Well, and then the middle. Elias, I think, is that how you say it? From Switzerland. Elias, M16, and then Mikey Adams from SYO. So what we go now, 46 minutes. So maybe it's a little bit long for a middle, but hopefully people enjoyed running around the Lake District.
It's always like that in the Lake District, isn't it? I mean, you know, you have to underplan a lot of the time to get the winning times correct, because
I guess it's all those hills, isn't it?
yeah, it's tougher than you think for sure.
Yeah. And then the long, and I just say before we say the long results is that if you haven't already done it, you can submit the time tomorrow, because I know some people were struggling to get the middle and the long done in the same day. So we'll accept results tomorrow for that one. So yeah, Joe's winning on that one as well. So yeah, that kind of rounds up today's action, I think.
Great, Chris. That's perfect. Well, I guess if that's the end, you can stop sharing your screen and we'll wrap things up. All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and thank you Fiona for joining us tonight and giving us such great insights into your junior career and what you're planning on in the future. For everyone who's watching, keep following us along on Facebook and on Twitter to receive all the updates of this weekend and, of course, upcoming competitions. Chris, can you give us a little bit of insight as to what's coming up tomorrow?
Yeah, so we've got the normal, we've got the grand finals tomorrow. So the top 6 guys and then the top 6 girls will go head to head in the finals tomorrow.
Great.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, indeed. UK time, 9 o'clock, Central European summertime. We'll see you back then. But from me, thank you and goodbye. And from everyone else, thank you and goodbye. See you then.